Good morning, lovely souls. Happy Friday. Tim Wiles Friday Ascension update. And I'm sat outside this morning. It's a beautiful, cool, late summer, early autumn morning, and can definitely feel the change in the air, like a a little bit like that. And you might have heard me mention in my last video, and if you joined for the workshop on Wednesday with David and I have never been happier to see the sun move into Virgo than I have this year. On a personal level, I always find the Lion's Gate very intense, very challenging. I've got 4 of my major planets in Leo, as well as my sun sign. And I used to look forward to them. I'd be like, yeah, it's the Lion's Gate, brilliant. And all they are is extremely challenging. But this year has been way, way more physical than the other years. It's been... most of the time, our experiences in this reality are a mixture of mental, physical, emotional and spiritual. This one for me, and I've seen this kind of reflected within the collective field, has been very much more about physical integration. So the integration physically of the light, which has utterly changed, the quality of the light. Thank you, Mr. Crow. the quality of the light that has changed so dramatically, and we're keeping up with it on a physical level. And it's almost like we are pushing our physical bodies at the moment into a realm that originally they weren't specifically designed for. Okay, so we are the Adam Kadmon blueprint: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, the now 15 chakras, and we've retained our physicality, but we're having to adjust that physicality to keep up with what is going on around us. And because we are choosing not to ascend into an energy frequency, we are keeping our physical bodies. We're having to make a lot of adjustments, and we're not just having to make adjustments over a significant period of time. We're doing it in a very, very short space of time, which is why we all feel so pushed. Okay, now David and I introduced the activation. I was saying new chakras in inverted commas. They've always been there, and a lot of you have already been aware of them. But the solar junction, which exists above the stellar gateway and just below the monad, which is assisting us to integrate these vaster quantities of light that are coming in, and they're big. It's a frequency that we have not been used to previously, and so it's almost a little bit, the analogy I'd use is like all of a sudden you've signed yourself up for a marathon, and this marathon you haven't had the time or the preparation to get fit for that you think. Okay, but in actual fact you are capable of running it. So you've got to push yourself. You've got to push yourself into that, and a lot of it is about mental fortitude, going the distance, and in many cases being broken down and building back up again. It's been such an intensive August, and so the chakra I want to look at a little bit more about this morning, I mentioned it in my last Friday video and in the Monday as well, as the Alta Major, the back of the neck, because this is the big one, and also the thymus, the higher heart. The higher heart is kind of self-managing, a little bit like the heart center. It will do what hearts do. It is there to receive the highest love and light from all corners of the universe, but it's also kind of almost like our engine or our driving point. And so the Alta Major at the back of the neck, now the reason why this is causing so many clearance issues for us is because it was previously the way that we were linked into the 3D matrix. So those of us that have disattached ourselves, and it's exactly the analogy, the Matrix. The Matrix was a documentary. It was presented as a fantasy movie, a science fiction movie. But now that we're here, the similarities are incredible. So all linked in at the back of the neck, and now we've disattached ourselves. We are having to clear the programming that enabled us to live within that illusion. And this is where all of the physical stuff is coming from. Now, I've added this chakra to my list of problem chakras. Some of you might have heard me talk about the 4 chakras that I always see as bringing stuff up to clear, or being a point of contention on the Ascension pathway, and that is the third eye, the throat, the solar plexus and the sacral. Well, now I've put to the Alta Major pretty much at the top of the list because of the intensity of the clearing. Of course, if we detach from a matrix that held us in a state of illusion or semi-illusion or whatever point of consciousness that we existed at, if we've disattached ourselves from that and the chakra is returning to its the integrity for which it was created, of course we've got to suddenly clear all of the wiring, the programming, the cords, the attachments, and also anything else which exists that was placed in there to keep us hooked into that reality. Now, once you've removed yourself from that, then it's all systems go. But the physical issues are really they're real. Okay, they're almost, many of us will feel it as like an intense pressure or headaches or shoulder aches and things that are going on at that first vertebrae at the top of the spine, you know, where the spine meets the neck and the base of the skull. That particular area, it's just being cleared. It will clear itself naturally. The higher you keep your vibration, the more light you bring into your body. All of our systems clear themselves, but you will also notice that you will be getting assistance from your light teams, from the higher galactics, from the angels. Anybody else that you work with will assist this program to clear it. It will move faster. So call in assistance if you're feeling physically challenged in any area. Call in the healing teams, the MAP healing team who work for Pan, the Pleiadians. Commander Ashtar's healing team is very, very handy. Archangel Raphael. Anybody that you feel guided to, that you know will assist you. It's a point where I'm seeing many of us reaching out and giving ourselves that love that we need. Okay, so it's all one thing standing in your light, helping everybody else all the time, but we've got to also kind of honour the fact, and I know I'm not just speaking for myself, I'm speaking for many of you. You're putting the progress of the planet and the progress of other people before yourself. If that resonates with you, step back, get the assistance in, because there is so much of it. Okay, so who else is coming in and what is coming in at the moment? Because obviously August has been very interesting, and we're now facing the final 3 months of this year. It's here already. The final 3 months of the year: September, October, November and December. So that's 4 months, isn't it? Okay. And most of us are expecting turbulence. We're kind of bracing for impact a little bit. We know that we have, amongst ourselves and the assistance of many millions of others around the world, created a wave of global awakening. Now that wave of global awakening is creating this incredible panicked pushback from the 3D matrix that is attempting to keep as many people attached to the reality by the Alta Major and retain the illusion, because with the more people that are linked into it, the more power it has. So everybody's unplugging themselves as they're going along, and slowly but surely this previous reality is just it's losing its traction. So the more this happens, the louder they shout. And you've seen many examples of what is going on in the various countries around the world, particularly, I mentioned the last time, UK, Australia particularly, the United States. And this, I see or feel, will become louder. Okay, the invitation to join into the fear party will become louder. So this leads me on very much to what I want to talk about, and I mentioned it in the last video, is taking the high road. When this Ascension process was first shown to me how it was going to work, and I'm talking back in 2008, it was a lot more difficult to comprehend than it is now. Now I can actually see how it works, I can see how it goes, and it's all very, very cleverly orchestrated. What appears to the untrained eye as utter chaos, in actual fact, is a very divinely orchestrated plan that is going very much as it is intended to. It's just not very comfortable. It's not comfortable for a lot of us, and it's particularly uncomfortable if you're living in these places that have got this very kind of very draconian feel to it, this impending lockdown and everything that's being rolled out. Now, by taking the high road, I mean adopting the highest plan that is available. Now, as I said on the previous Friday, there are multiple versions of reality available. The reality that we choose, the reality that we engage in collectively, becomes the selected one. Okay, so say you've got there's three options, the 3D, the 4D and the 5D. I know this all sounds like numbers, it sounds like speculation, but it's actually not. It's where we're going to be going at the moment. Those kind of realities are merging with each other, and we can play in each other's playgrounds. It's like a Venn diagram that's all linked together. But as we raise in frequency, as the 5D matrix becomes more solid, more anchored, and real, and it is real, these realities, they move away from each other. And obviously souls that are existing in 3D and haven't woken up yet, the second they do, they will gravitate to the 5D reality. So I know it's created a little bit of kind of disharmony before when I've spoken about this, because a lot of us feel that we're going to lose our loved ones or relatives or people that we're very, very close to, because they're not choosing to vibrate at this frequency yet. But this isn't happening immediately. This is going to be a gradual moving apart, a gravitation, and so many souls have chosen to experience the Ascension pathway far more than you would look around you at the moment and actually give people credit for. It will happen. The reason why this planet is so uncomfortable at the moment is because it needs to be uncomfortable in order to wake people up who are still linked in to the Matrix and the programming into the Alta Major, that faux pas reality. It needs, you have to shake that very hard. You have to make that the vibration of it so difficult to live within that they snap out of it. And so for the next kind of like half a year, third of a year, however long that we're still engaging with this, the pressure will increase. As the light increases, the response from 3D increases. We live within this, but we've chosen the high road. We are collectively focused on a reality that merges from one point of existence into another smoothly. Okay, now high road, middle road, low road. Okay, we'll look at it like that. Low road is going back to the fall of Atlantis. Okay, it's draconian, it's destructive, it's banging everything back to the Stone Age, so that the society is built, you know, back from the ashes from which it burnt down to, or flooded, or got frozen out. That was very much the way that 3D societies finished. They just it was just a demolition, and then everything builds up and everything's bright, clean and fresh for a while in 3D until people started using the negative aspect of their free will again. Free will. And then you've got the middle section. You've got the middle section, which is the 4D window. Now this is the changeover process. This is where we go from 3D to 4D. This is where we are at the moment, and it's a muddle. It's a muddle because we're doing all of this clearing. We're doing all of this transitioning. And then you get to where we are going. And that particular vision of reality is a smooth transition. It's a transition where we take what is wonderful about the way that we have existed and we move it into our future existence. And there is a lot of very wonderful things about this planet. Maybe not the way that we've been communicating and living with each other, maybe not the way that we've been communicating and living with the planet. That has got to change. Education must change. Medicine must change. The financial system must change. Politics must change. The drive for the human 3D urge for war must change. We can't take those aspects with us. They have got to stay in 3D. And if people choose to continue to learn at that level, then they will do. But where we're going, and we've all got the vision within us now. We know how we want to live. We can see how we don't want to live because it is being very much presented as a reality now. We've always known that it existed in history previously, history. But now we're being presented with the same scenario again, the same scenario that happened at the fall of Atlantis, that has carried on for the last 10,000 years. And none of us are buying that. We're not part of that. We're not going to. That is not the future that we have chosen for ourselves. And we certainly, the children that have incarnated here, and they're very important at the moment, the children certainly have not chosen to incarnate into a reality where everybody is basically, for want of a better word, captured by a matrix system that is controlled by people with a lot of money. No, that's the 3D reality, but I'm not going to touch on that too much. Everybody knows it exists. It's visible. So how do we create this high road? How do we hold this vision? Well, I and many others with a teaching platform have been saying for so long, remember who you are, remember how powerful you are. Okay, and I suppose a lot of us feel quite powerless in the current situation. You're looking at all of this going on around the world. How can I assist? Well, for every one point of consciousness that is anchored in the I am presence, that is enough to change the world. And there are millions of us around the world now, and millions more are detaching from the previous reality and stepping into that. So we now have a huge quantity of people around the world holding this collective vision, this collective 5D reality, the Atlantean gold print, and we are going to achieve it. We're going to achieve it a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently than we would feel that we are going to. We are naturally kind of programmed with these potential disaster scenarios. We're powerless, everything's going to go wrong, the boot's going to fall, all of the rest of it. But the higher we hold our visions and the more intensively that we focus upon our intention, manifestation, reality, that is not going to occur. So the other roads are available. This messy one in the middle is where we are at the moment, but you can't really build with what we've got around us at the moment. It's a transitional phase. So we're moving everything that was good from 3D into our 5D reality. We're taking that with us, okay? But everything that existed at a 3D frequency that we know is not right, it's out of alignment, it's got to change. That is going to stay where it is. We're not taking that with us. Okay, and I don't mean this is like I know some people take words quite literally, but when I say we're moving, and we're not jetting off to another planet. We are creating another reality, and everything that worked will be in that reality. Everything that didn't work, everything that was wrong, out of alignment, will not be coming. Okay, so we've got to leave quite a few things behind, and some of those things might have been quite, they're just comfortable. They were just a way of living within that reality that we got used to. But you'll find very rapidly that the things that we can't take with us, you won't miss that much. Okay, so you might think you're going to miss it, but you won't miss it. One of those things, I touched a little bit, I touched about on this a little bit on the workshop with David, is the free will aspect. Now, free will is our God-given right to make our decisions on this world. Okay, free will exists as the learning platform for planet Earth. We as humans have been given free will so that we can make our own decisions, we can learn our own lessons, and we can set our own karma balls rolling. But and this is where it gets interesting. When we are going to be living at the other end of the scale, the 5D frequency, that free will not necessarily exist in the format that we have been previously used to. It will be very much more about the collective. It's more about heart-based service where we are going. So the I kind of becomes less significant, and the we becomes the everything. It becomes the foundation of the future for what we are going to be existing in. Now, 3 very, very prominent souls have been coming to me over the course of this year, and that is the Seraphim. And the 3 Seraphim, Seraphina, Seraphisa and Seraphisil, have basically been dropping in, Seraphile, have been dropping in almost on every single workshop that I've been doing, and I know many of you out there will also have been connecting with them. The Seraphim are a structure of the angelic hierarchy, but they work right at the top. They're working up at the source head, so to speak, or the Godhead, whatever you want to call it, and they are master constructors. Okay, so they're helping when they appear. They are constructing something, they're building, and they build in a very similar way to I've seen the galactic dragons. It's almost like they breathe a construction or a potential reality into a vibration where it becomes real. So this next 3, 6 months, a year is very much about building the next phase. Okay, so we've got the foundation energy, we're on point, we've got our energies going in the right direction, and we know what we want and we know what we don't want. And now the Seraphim are stepping in to help that foundation become a visible structure, a reality. And I'm going to be running a workshop on the 14th of September, working with the 3 of them, and also with Lady Gaia, the angel of our planet Earth, the overall consciousness of planet Earth, because she is calling for all of us to put all of our energy and our intention into building this high road. Okay, the high road is very important. The focus of the high road, the unwavering intent with which we build the next phase is going to be very important, which is why they're trying to distract us and pull it back into a lower frequency all the time. That unwavering picture will always be what you feel in your heart is the correct picture for reality, the one that lights your heart up, not the one that fills you with fear and dread for yourself or those around you, but the vision of reality that makes your heart sing, lights you up. You just go, now that is what I would like to be living in. That is the reality that I wish to create for myself, because it's here. Okay, it's visible, it's tangible, and we are building it. So we're going to be looking at I'm going to be looking very much at how the Seraphim are working with us at the moment, because their presence has been coming in very strongly. So yeah, that's about it from me today. And I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to be posting a link to the second video that I recorded with Jenna Boreham from Sundisk Ascension this morning. It's an interesting chat. We had a good long chat and we're talking about the Atlantean gold print, again covering a lot of what I'm mentioning this morning, about what we're building for the future and just everything that's going on at the moment. And also the details for the workshop, the Seraphim and Lady Gaia workshop, which is going to be happening on the 14th of September. Sending you all loads of love. Hope you have a beautiful weekend, and I'll be back on Monday. Bye for now.